Welcome back. Alfredo Freddy Ramirez is the new director of the Miami-Dade Police Department. The 49-year-old has been with the department for 25 years, starting off in patrol and working his way up, including stints in narcotics and homicide. He promises to focus on gun violence and health of his officers, and he joins us here this morning. Freddie, congratulations on the new job.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that.
So why did you want to become director?
Why did I want to lead the finest agency in the country?
So let's talk a little bit about that agency. It's the largest. Talk to me about how large an agency you're currently overseeing.
Currently, it's the 8th largest agency in the country, and the largest in the southeastern United States.
Typically, you know, so often we only hear from the director when something has gone wrong. And let's hopefully that we avoid that, and you come back in good times and bad, and we have these sorts of conversations. But you know, we talked a little bit at the in your introduction about how you want to talk about your priorities are the health of your officers and also limiting gun violence. Let's start with the gun violence.
Yes.
Every director I've ever known has always talked about wanting to limit and restrict and do something about gun violence in the community, and we continue to have a problem. What can be done?
Well, I feel personally that our current law enforcement officers are out there doing everything they can. They're doing an outstanding job. And the new form of what we're doing is that the community is involved. You know, people like Tangela Sears, Leroy Jones, Romania Dukes, they're community leaders on all segments of the county are involved with us to curtail gun violence. And we've made tremendous gains. The Board of County Commissioner that brought on the gun violence initiative. We've gone outside of the state to look for programs that could help us, because you can't really, it's not only on law enforcement. It's the community as a whole that has to address this issue. And yeah, it's been going on for years. Unfortunately, it's a reality of our society in our country through the years, but I feel that we're making very positive gains, and I think that we're building a great collaboration with the community and other groups to help us curtail this, because now it's random and it's specific, you know?
Say that last part again. It's random and specific? Random
and specific. The shooting is random. You know, we could have patrols and enforcement strategies in place, and then specific because people are targeted. We cannot control somebody's will to enact retribution on somebody. You know, and in today's world with cell phones and things like that, they're able to text, hey, if you're looking for so-and-so, he's over there at the corner. How do you stop that, you know?
So one of the things, so to what extent are you able to, because so much of this does go off on social media.
Yes.
How aggressive are we getting, how better are we getting at that technology in terms of sort of seeing, identifying, and trying to stay ahead of the curve?
We've made leaps and bounds with that. We have a real-time crime center. Our homicide task force has an analytical section. We have a shot spotter. We all kind of LPRs, which are license plate readers. We got all kinds of technology, so much so that a lot of times when our units are responding to gun violence, they're crashing into the bad guys because those alerts are coming to our officers before they even get dispatched. That's how specific that we're getting, so strategic in what we're doing. So we're not doing the ground and pound, arrest everybody like before, 400 bodies and you still have murders. We're going to those who are causing the problem, focusing on people who are committing violence with guns. It's not the whole community. It's a small percentage. Sometimes they don't even live in this community. They're coming from somewhere else to enact revenge on somebody they had a problem with before.
Well, you raise a good point, which is it's also a matter about the department creating a sense of priorities, what's important to go after. And a lot of times we've seen sort of some of the struggles within the department and the community. That one of the challenges with the community is often that if you there could be a philosophy that sort of says if you go after the little things, then you'll be able to step some of the big things. If you pull somebody over for a failed license plate or a tag or marijuana smoking or something like that, you may find a gun. But at the same time, you end up alienating people in the community for doing that. So how do you focus on the big picture and limit officer involvement in some of the smaller things that can alienate the community?
Well, first of all, in terms of our patrol strategy is a community policing strategy, which is connecting with the community. We're heavily involved with a civil citation program through Commissioner Sally Heyman.
Are you using it? Because I've heard concerns that the civil citation program is not being used as effectively, that arrests are still being made.
Well, of course, arrests are being made when there's a crime committed and meets that criteria. It's at the discretion of the officer. Our goal is not to criminalize people. If you look at our juvenile arrests, they're down here in the state of Florida. We work great with our juvenile justice system. We're not looking to dirty up somebody's record. What we're looking for is the individuals who are out there terrorizing our community, committing gun violence over and over again.
How do you get the African American community to trust you? Because there may be a natural sort of predisposition to wonder who's coming into their community to police them.
Well, I could tell you that 4 years ago, there was a sense of lack of trust, but Director Perez put a lot of work in to connect. That's why I talk about the Circle of Brotherhood, mothers of victims of gun violence. We work with those groups. They are the ambassadors for each other. Not only do we deal with the victim, we deal with the mom, the mother, the parents of the victim of the gun violence.
All right, let's move on to, I think, earlier in the show I would have introduced you as potentially the last director that this department would have, because in 2024, we're going to move from a system of a director who's appointed by the mayor, a professional officer who moves up usually through the ranks, to an elected sheriff like they do in the other 66 counties. Right. Do you think, I realize it's above your pay grade, but do you lament the idea? Do you worry about what the future of the department is when you move from a professional leadership to an elected leadership?
Right now, my focus is to do this job right, to earn the respect of my officers and the community, for them to trust me. I'm focusing on the now. Right now, that's 4 years down the road. Right now, my eyes are on curtailing gun violence, maintaining our community trust, and taking care of my officers, making sure that they have the needs that they need out there to do the job.
So probably the same answer to this question. Is that a job you might be interested in running for yourself someday?
What I'm interested in is doing this job the right way right now. I'm focusing on the now.
You talk about the now, the health of officers. It's an endemic problem. We've seen officer suicides, issues along that line. What can the department do to better protect the health of the mental health and both the physical and mental well-being of its officers? Yeah,
that's a terrible tragedy that's going on in law enforcement right now. You've seen the suicides around the country. Fortunately, here in our department, we have a great psychological service section with outstanding clinicians. Before, it was a stigma amongst officers to go to that. Now we have officers that come. We're developing peer groups as well at the districts, because as we talk about gun violence and all the struggles, it's also my officers that have to face that. When I sit at home at night and the shot spotter goes off on my phone, because I get it real time, and I hear 40 rounds, the first thing I do at my home is turn the radio on. I'm listening because I'm worried for them, because they're the ones that are charging towards that gunfire. And then they see the mayhem. God forbid they're taking the gunfire. They find a victim. It's stressful, and then they go out and do another call. And then the scrutiny that it's out there with law enforcement, the pressures, the technology, they're worried that they're going to make a mistake. Are they going to get in trouble? Are they going to be judged wrong? That all worries me, and that doesn't even go along with their own pressures at home of their life. I always talk about how when we have over 5,000 candidates that put in for this job. After we vet them, we get the best of the best to make it in this profession. You see them in the academy, and they're shiny, but once within 3 years of the job, that they're out there dealing with, the worst of the worst, the tragedies. They see people suffering, the day-to-day things, that starts to wear on them. So at home, they'll take their uniform off, but what they carry on their skin stays with them. They go to bed, they deal with that, and then they're always worried, because they're the ones that charge forward, that they're going to get in trouble.
Does the department currently have there been recent suicides in the Miami-Dade Police Department?
Thank goodness, not recently. We've had in the last couple of years, but I'm very proud of our psychological services, and I'm going to expand on that with a wellness program to ensure that we're able to address issues before they become a disciplinary problem. Because my employees are not disposable commodities. They're human beings.
All right, I want to talk to you about a couple other things real quick. This weekend is Martin Luther King weekend. We have traditionally seen the wheels up, guns down. Yes. It can turn into a fair amount of mayhem. We're taping this on Friday. This airs on Sunday. What do you think we're experiencing this weekend? What will we be experiencing?
What I know is that my officers are prepared to keep the streets safe. And actually that issue is really a year-round problem. It's not so much specific for Martin Luther King Day. That's a terrible stigma that great holiday has. We have that problem all year around. In fact, last year I believe we've had about roughly 25 deaths associated to irresponsible ATV riding out in the streets. So this is an ongoing problem that we deal with. And we're going to have a good plan out there. Major Sean Brown and Northside District put it together. And we're going to focus to ensure that the community has a great time celebrating that great day.
So in a couple of weeks, we're also going to be having the Super Bowl here in South Florida. I know the planning for that has been going on for 2 years. What can you tell me? What should the public be concerned about? Miami will now potentially be a major target. It's a major incident area. What can we look forward to, and what is your office going to be doing about it?
Well, Our officers, as you said, we've been working on this for 2 years. Assistant Director Pat Hanlon has been the lead on this, and he's done an outstanding job. We're working with our local law enforcement partners, our federal partners. We've had committees. We're not only going to harden the Super Bowl site itself and the other events, but we're also going to ensure that we have patrols, our Homeland Security, our Fusion Center is going to be monitoring. And yes, I ask the community to always go by, see something, say something, to be alert. Like I said earlier in the segment, it takes a community together with law enforcement. If you see something suspicious, you call it in. Yes, we're going to be on a high alert because it's a world stage. The eyes of the world are going to be looking at Miami-Dade County. And this is not a Miami-Dade police event. This is a Miami-Dade County event, all of us together.
Is this a dream for you to be the director of this department?
It's an honor. It's an honor.
All right. I don't want to press you on it here. I want to invite you back because I don't think you have a lot of answers yet to be able to talk about the shooting incident involving so many of your officers in Hollywood with the UPS truck. But I want to hope that when we start seeing some of the material come out, that you'll come back and we can talk about that, because I think it's an important issue of when officers discharge their weapons and under what conditions.
Yes, sir.
From the officer standpoint and from the public standpoint.
Yes, sir.
Freddy Ramirez, good luck to you, and we hope to have you back again soon.
My friend.
All right, take care. All right.